In this lesson, I will learn how to make advanced customizations using CSS and a child theme. In our last lesson, we learned how to make some customizations to our theme using the interface, but as we saw, we're quite limited in the amount of things we can actually change. We can't change things like text colors or anything like that. So I want to take a look at how we can actually have control over all of that, but unfortunately that does require some code knowledge. So if you don't know something like CSS, then you're going to be limited to making changes to the interface like in our last lesson. If you do want to learn some more of the advanced customization we do throughout this lesson, then you can watch some of our other CSS courses like your First Day of CSS or Introduction to CSS, and you can get a better idea of how to write that code yourself. So I'm going to come in here, and to make some changes with CSS, one way we can do that is by using a feature of Jetpack. So I'm going to come up here to our dashboard, and I'm going to come down to Jetpack, and I want to activate this feature called Custom CSS, which is going to allow us to customize our site without modifying the theme itself. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and then I'm going to activate it. And now we can come down here to our appearance. We have this new option to edit the CSS, and then we have this little editor here, which is really cool, that we can just come in here and make any changes we want without having to dive into an external program or anything like that. So with our project files, I've gone ahead of time and created some CSS to modify our site files. So that's in our 20 begin folder, and it's this file right here, style.css. So I've just copied the content from that file, and I'm going to paste it right in here. I'm not going to go over all this code. You can see that there's a good amount here, but if you want to learn more about the process of modifying a theme in this manner, we also have a course specifically that goes over creating what's called a child theme using Firefox web browser and CSS. So if you want more in-depth tutorial over that, we have that available as well. So I'm going to go ahead and save this style sheet. And now if we come back to our site, you can see we have a much different look now just by editing the CSS. So that's really cool that we have the ability to do that just by editing the file. If we wanted to come in here and do things like change the font, I've actually replaced the font, and now it's using my default serif font for Firefox, which I have set to Adobe Garamond Pro. But if we want custom fonts, and if we want to come down here and remove the footer credit and things like that, we have to create what's called a child theme. So real quickly, we're going to take a look at how we can create that child theme and what that's going to allow us to do. So to look at that, we need an external text editor to be able to edit the template files themselves. I'm going to be using a text editor called Brackets, which I've included a link to the download in your links.rtf file with your project files. So it's free and you can follow along using that text editor if you wish, or if you're familiar with text editors, you can use a text editor of your choice. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this and bring up Brackets. And what we want to do here is we want to come in and open our file on the server. So in XAMPP, if you remember when we installed our local server, we installed it on the C drive, and that's in the XAMPP folder, and we added all of our project files in this htdoc folders so they can take advantage of that server we installed. So in here we just want to navigate to our project files, which I've saved in Blue Leopard, and we want to select this folder so we can bring in this project to Brackets text editor. What we want to do in here is, I'm just going to collapse this so we can see, in this WP content folder we have a folder called themes, and we have all of the themes we have installed in here. So what we're going to be doing is creating a new theme that's going to be overwriting the code for the old theme, but we have all of our original files still in place. So if we messed up or something like that, we could simply delete our new folder and we have the original theme still intact. So we're creating, that's called a child theme of the original theme. And you can see here I've already created a folder, and what we want to do, we have OpenStrap, which is our original theme, and we want to create a new folder in the same themes folder. So you'll just want to right click, come to new folder, and then we're going to name it the original theme name with a hyphen of child, so you can see that here. Inside of this folder, we can make any kind of customization we wish. So I just have the CSS file. That's the only required file to add. So I have all of the CSS we have here from our custom CSS that we just added to WordPress, but we also need one additional thing. So I'm going to come back here to our site, and I have this file from the WordPress Codex open about how to create a child theme. This has some in-depth instructions in case you have trouble following along on your own. But the most important thing here is this little bit of code. I have a link to this in your project files in that links document. And we want to come here and hit Control-C, and I'm going to copy all of this code. So I'm going to switch back over here to the text editor, and this is literally exactly the same CSS I added to that custom CSS in Jetpack. So the only difference here is we need to add this code at the top. I just hit Control-V to paste that, so WordPress knows to look for our new CSS. We have a lot of different little things here, but the only thing that's actually required is the theme name and the template. So to simplify this, I'm going to delete everything but those two lines, the theme name and the template. So we're going to give our new theme a name and call it OpenStrap Child, or if you're using a different theme, you just have that theme name and then child at the end. For the template, we're just telling it the folder where the original theme files are stored. So in our theme, that's OpenStrap, the folder. So we want to type in OpenStrap instead of 2014. If we were making a child theme of 2013, we'd type in that 2013 folder name just as appears, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and type in that OpenStrap. And the last thing we want to do is we want to import the original style sheet. So our styles are going to overwrite those original styles. So I'm going to come here where it says 2014 and type in OpenStrap, since in that OpenStrap we can see we have our original CSS file. It's just style.css. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize that original folder. That's exactly what we want. I'm going to hit Control-S to save, and now we've activated, or we've created, a child theme, and any file we put in here, as long as we're mimicking the original file structure of the original theme, then we're going to be overwriting those with new files. So I'm going to come in here, and I have two other files I wanted to modify. The footer.php, I wanted to modify in that original template because I wanted to remove that credit. So all I did was I copied this file, I pasted it into my OpenStrap child file directly as it appeared, and then I made the modifications I want. So to save you the process of following along exactly, if you find it a bit difficult, because that is kind of complicated when you first start, in our project files in this 20end folder, I have my complete OpenStrap child theme saved there as well. I edited that footer.php to remove that credit, and in the header.php file, if we come back here, I'll show you what that does. It's just header.php. This is all the header information for our file, so every page is going to be importing this file. And I just came in here to where all of our links are included, and I pasted some code so I could use some Typekit fonts instead of the original fonts for our file. So if you're using Google Fonts or something like that, you'll want to come into this header file, copy it, paste it into your child theme, and then add the information to pull in your new font. So I'm going to go back to our site. And now we just want to activate that child theme. So I'm going to come in here, and I want to come to my appearance and then themes. And if WordPress recognizes that, we should see our theme being treated as a theme in our theme files. And you can see it's right here exactly as we named it. So we can go ahead and do a live preview of that. And we have a little bit of an issue here. So I'm going to go back and activate it and show you what has happened and what we need to change. So I'm going to come back here and visit our site. And it almost looks like it's broken. But what's happening here is we need to make the original changes we did. We have all of our content pulling in, but the theme options, our child theme is overriding those original changes. So we need to go back and add our logo. We need to also replace this content here in our theme option. So if I come in here, I'm just going to pause and I'm going to paste that original content from our content.rtf file right here. And I'm just going to paste that content from that content.rtf for our homepage right back in there. So even though it looks like it's completely broken, we just have to kind of repeat a couple steps or a couple customizations we made through the interface when we activate a child theme like that, since it's going to kind of reset those customizations we made. So I'm going to come up here and I want to re-add my logo. I'm going to save the front page information just to make sure that's saved. Come over here to my basic settings and I just want to re-upload my logo. So there we go. It's still saved in our media library nicely for us. So I'm going to select that and go ahead and save my page. If I come back over here to our site, you can see we have that child theme pulling in once again, but since we activated that, it's going to change the file location of things a little bit differently. So I don't have my background image pulling in, and we just want to come in here and check some of the other basic changes as well. So I'm going to come in here to my customize screen and I'm going to add my background image back in there. So I'm going to select my blue leopard background file. And there we go. It looks like it's now pulling back in my full screen background. So I could go ahead and save and publish this. And it looks like my main content here isn't pulling in the correct color, so I just go back in my CSS and edit that. So I'll do that between lessons so you don't have to watch me do it. So this is kind of a complicated process coming in and adding that child theme, but you can see that once we do it, we can have some really exciting changes to our theme. I think it feels really custom now and much less templatey than it did before. We have custom fonts pulling in, we've changed the link colors, all kinds of things. And once again, if you feel kind of stressed out because this is a complicated process and you feel like you need it broken down more step by step, we have a complete course that goes over creating child themes in WordPress as well, so you can get much more practice there. I really just wanted to take the time to show you that we have the ability to make extra changes by creating a child theme and where you can start to look to make some of those more advanced changes. So now that we know how to make advanced customizations to our theme using CSS and also by creating a child theme, in our next lesson we'll take a look at some things we'd want to change if we were to publish our site.